I'm going to give everyone a couple seconds to get in. Hey, ladies. Now, I will say we're going to try to stick with 1 hour. We're going to try to stick with 1 hour, but I have a lot to cover in that 1 hour, okay? One thing that's very important is for you to have your questions ready because we can't linger, okay? I call myself making an appointment. So as soon as I finish, I got to get up and go to the appointment. Okay, so we are talking about building your growth platform. I know that I have been like on this heavily. And the reason I've been on this heavily is because of how important it is. It is so important. So many of you come to me, you want to launch a product, you want to put something out that would benefit from a community buying it. You want to put out a book, you want to put out a course, you want to put out a program that could benefit from a community buying it, but you've never created that community. Okay. Right now, this is one of the best times to actually create. This is one of the best times to create, y'all. Okay. While business might be a little bit slow, while you have less clients, while, right now we don't really know what's going on with the economy or what's going to go on with the economy, now is a great time to build. Okay. Warren Buffett has a quote. I'm going to misquote, but the gist of his quote was, when things slow down, this is when you pick up new skills. Okay. Another quote is, when the fishermen can't go out to fish, they work on repairing their nets. Right. Okay. So let's talk about what I mean by a growth platform. Okay. I know I've been talking about this, and I know you're thinking, okay, well, maybe I don't want to build a global power tour. I don't want to build a tour. I don't want to do anything like that. I like to attend stuff like that, but I don't want to build something like that. That is not the only type of growth platform. There are so many different types. If you are on my Substack, I've gone through part 1 and part 2, breaking down different types of growth platforms. And then I broke down Don Lemon's growth platform. Okay. So go on and grab your notebooks and let's chat. First, let me go through, and guys, I have a lot of notes. Okay. First, let me go through some of Christy's pillars for a growth platform. These are very specific to me, my thoughts, my opinion, what I feel. Okay. First, your growth platform has to be mostly under your control. Okay. When I say mostly, the reason is because you can build a growth platform off YouTube. Okay. I'm going to give you more examples. Don't worry. But you can build a growth platform off of YouTube. Right. And YouTube, you don't own. Most of the other things that I'm going to tell you about, you can own. But YouTube, you don't own. Right. However, right now, I am doing a live stream on YouTube, but I have my Osmo right beside the phone capturing the content. So a clearer, prettier visual will go onto YouTube, or, I can put it on a landing page, whatever I want to do with it. Most people, when they are capturing content for YouTube, they have a copy of the video somewhere else. I create a lot of my content inside of Instagram, right? Some of it's outside of Instagram. A lot of it's inside Instagram. So if Instagram shuts down my page now, a good portion of my content will be gone forever. Okay. A good portion of it, at least a third, almost 40% will be gone just like that. That is not a growth platform for me. You need to understand what is a growth platform for you that you've created, and what are some trains that can take people to your growth platform. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat if that makes sense. You might build a podcast. You might build a tour like me. And one of the trains that brings people to my growth platform is Instagram, is YouTube, is my email list, is in-person networking. I want to build several trains, or basically lead channels, into the growth platform that I built. Make sense, ladies? So that is the first pillar. It needs to be a platform that you mostly control. Okay. If you are building your growth platform and it's going to be a podcast, like, where is his book? Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett. I have the book somewhere around here. That is his growth platform. That is his growth platform. It is a podcast that he made a goal of turning into the #1 podcast in the world. He is pretty much getting there. Now it turned into a book. It turned into other businesses that he's built off the platform, and it's turned into a live podcast, like an event that he does. That is a growth platform. Okay. Another pillar of a growth platform is it is a platform that you can make money from and profit from consistently, year after year after year, for your business. Just by owning Global Power Tour and launching my own events under Global Power Tour, I can make money off of it year after year after year. Okay. Another pillar is a growth platform is something that you can build up and then leverage to create other profitable platforms. Many of you know I launched Global Power Tour, then leveraged Global Power Tour into the Power Weekend, leverage Global Power Tour into the Power Retreats. Those are two other completely different products that I launched from Global Power Tour. I have another product launching this year. You guys will see behind the scenes video of it tomorrow. If you're in my stories, I have a meeting tomorrow. I'm going there. And it's another product that I'm launching off of Global Power Tour. So think about a growth platform like this. I don't have a pen near me, but think about if you're doing mind mapping. Everybody knows mind mapping, right? So think about if you're doing mind mapping, you have your circle in the middle, and that's your main product. Main product is Global Power Tour. Then you have all these spider-like legs off of the main product. Okay? The Power Retreat, the Power Weekend, another product which is launching at Global Power Tour in Houston. But you guys will see some behind the scenes for the next couple of months. Tomorrow will be the first behind the scenes that you see. Okay. All of that Christy owns. All of that I have control over. Whether it's good, bad, it fails, it doesn't fail, it makes $1 million, it makes $5. Christy controls it. Okay. Whether Instagram goes up or down, they close it tomorrow. Okay. I can take Global Power Tour and use another train to get people to my growth platform. Okay, the train of Instagram has closed down, no problem. Let me look for some other trains to bring people to Global Power Tour. Let me pause for a second. Does that make sense, ladies? Let me know in the chat if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Yes? Okay. So another one of the pillars is you can build it up over time and it can span other products, services, books, merchandise, one-off or annual events. And an annual conference spun off global retreats. An annual conference spun off local retreats, the Power Weekend. An annual conference spun off merchandise. Okay. Now, let's talk about some more things. Okay. To build something like this, the reason I am stressing this to you so much right now is because these types of projects do take a lot of time investment. There are so many tools available right now to where Some things gonna still cost, like have a financial investment, but some things are like so much less than they used to be now. Let me give you an example. If you were in my stories this weekend, you saw me post my old magazine that I used to do called Power Culture Mag, right? That was an absolute at the time that I launched that magazine, that was my hardest project that I'd ever done in my entire life. Now Global Power Tour has taken that spot. Global Power Tour is so all encompassing and time consuming. It is the hardest project. It's harder than retreats. Retreats are right under that. But at the time that I launched Power Culture Mag, that was my hardest project. It was like, I love to see my work in real life, but this is hard. One of the things that made the magazine really hard is because of how much it cost me. It was very expensive for me at the time. Each issue used to cost me between about $1,100 and $1,500. Okay, $1,100 to $1,500 for the layout, for the graphic design. I did most of the interviews. I think I did all of the interviews for my first and my second issue. Like literally, I interviewed everyone and I wrote all of the articles. We have learned to work smarter. So after like, I think it was the second issue where it was like, okay, Christy, girl, you're going to need to get some help. You need other people who are going to write. You can't write all the articles, right? I still did all of the interviews, right? But I hired writers, which also added to the cost. Now, my goal was to get 12 issues out and then show my numbers and try to get advertisement. Y'all, I was getting good views. I don't remember what issue it was. I put out 5 copies. I don't remember which one it was. I'm gonna have to dig and see. But one of my issues had over 400,000 views, like in its first week. I remember I was literally bouncing off the walls because I was like, ooh, eventually this is going to turn into really good advertisement. Guys, when I did this, I don't think I was on Instagram yet. Instagram was new and I wasn't on it yet. Okay. I think that the year that I launched Power Culture Mag was the same year that Instagram came out. And I got on Instagram later. I got on Instagram in 2014. Power Culture Mag was in 2011, 12 area. Okay. So y'all, I had no Instagram. Think about this. I got over 400,000 views, no Instagram. I marketed the magazine as best as I could with the platforms and the tools available to me at the time. I'm bringing this up because at this point now we have Canva. We did not have Canva. Even if I still paid someone to lay out the magazine, let's say today, if I tell them to use Canva, I know that they're not using Adobe InDesign. I know they're not using Photoshop. So it should not cost me as much at all. I wouldn't pay anybody more than $200 to lay out the magazine. If I'm having them use it on Canva, I might lay it out myself. That's what I would do now. That's what I'm saying to you. Because there are so many magazine templates on Canva right now. Right? I now have Instagram. I now use YouTube. There are so many other platforms to leverage to get it out there. I give you guys that example because a magazine could be your growth platform. And guess what? Even though 13 years ago it was so expensive and so hard to do, now you guys can decide that you're going to launch a magazine tomorrow. You're going to use templates on Canva and launch a magazine tomorrow. There's a lady, I think her last name is Kirby. Okay, just type into YouTube how to start a magazine. Her videos will come up. She doesn't have a lot of followers, but her videos are very specific. This woman has created a full-time income and life for herself creating a magazine. that she uses Canva templates for. Okay. I give you that example because I don't want you to think that everything is going to require so much money. Now, it is going to require a lot of time. There is no getting around that. I could lie to you. I could. I could lie to you and tell you it's not going to take that much time. You can do it in 30 days. That would be a lie. Okay. It is going to take time. That is one of the things, if I had to do a pros and cons list, one of the cons with a growth platform is that it takes time because you are still working with real humans, and real humans need time to develop trust. Real humans take time to develop trust in working with you, attending whatever you have to offer, spending money with you. It takes time. Does that make sense, ladies? It takes time, period. Okay? It may not cost as much as it used to cost. We used to pay for a regular email. Now you can get so many different email platforms and get up to 2, 3, 4,000 email subscribers before you have to have a paid account. We did not have that when I first started business. If you had 2 emails subscribed, you paid monthly. Now you guys can do a lot of things that are cheaper to get off the ground. Okay. Now, if anyone is brand new, because I know that this video is going to go to a couple of other places, let me just give you a little background about my growth platform. My growth platform was building Global Power Tour. I launched Global Power Tour in 2016. I started putting together the verbiage and everything about Global Power Tour in 2015. It was called the Women's Business Initiative. I think that's what I called it. I have an old picture showing my presentation and I'm shopping it around. I shopped it around to an old banker friend of mine. I shopped it around to a first lady of a church, mega church here in Houston. I shopped it around and literally no one wanted to give me any type of investment for it. The man, the banker, actually told me verbatim that he doesn't believe in women like empowerment projects because we don't get along and it won't last long. Okay, so I remember after my last meeting that I had and I got a no again, I came home and I was like, Christy, you didn't figure it out at this point how to be a full-time entrepreneur for 10 years. You can fund this. You can self-fund this. You have to do the same thing you tell your clients to do. Worry about one at a time. Worry about city after city. Don't worry about 10 cities away. Worry about the current city. That is what I told myself, y'all. I don't need to be thinking about 10 cities from now. I don't need to be thinking about that. I need to be thinking about city after city. That's why when people are like, oh, I want to work with you so bad and this and that, I'm like, girl, pay for session 1. Get a power session. Pay for session 1. Let's get going. I am so glad. I feel so grateful to God that I took one step and then one more step and then one more step. Because had I waited for everything to like look, I don't know, normal or comfortable, I still wouldn't have started Global Power Tour to this day. Some weeks I am so busy, like this week. Some weeks and some days I'm so busy, I would have thought that I just didn't have the schedule for it and I would have never started it. But one of the things that helped me was telling myself, I'll do one city at a time. That's my focus. Christy, your focus is one city at a time. One city at a time. One stop at a time. Don't worry about nothing else. One stop at a time. Every single Global Power Tour has made money. Every single Global Power Tour has made money. Now, it took the first 7 for me to learn because number 8 was the first Global Power Tour that was profitable. Okay? Made money, paid the bills, and went into the black. Okay? The first 7, yes, they made money. Every single one of them. I sold tickets. The first Global Power Tour sold out. The first Global Power Tour at Hotel Derrick here in Houston, Texas sold out. So of course they made money. But I was always like, what, how much we short? Okay. I'm selling houses. I'm doing coaching. I'm selling my books. All of that was contributing back into my growth platform. Everybody with me still? Okay. So, launched Global Power Tour in 2016. After 3 years, I felt comfortable launching the retreat side of Global Power Tour. 2019, in September 2019, is when I launched the Power Retreat leg of my growth platform. The first country city that we went to retreat wise was Johannesburg, South Africa. My husband joked with me. He was like, the way your brain works is just so funny, because he's like, you might be scared of a spider, but then you will launch your first retreat at the bottom of the earth. I don't like spiders, okay? Me and Janae, we don't like spiders, okay? But I launched my first retreat in Johannesburg, South Africa. I didn't go anywhere close like Mexico. Mexico is very close to Texas. Like, we can get to Mexico in an hour, 50 minutes, seriously. I didn't do that. I don't know why. I had the retreat side in my journal forever, and I found this hotel that I liked so much. It had pink decor. Y'all know. Once I saw the pink decor, I'm like, this is good as done. Okay. Once I saw that pink decor, I'm like, I don't know, God. I don't know, God, but it has to be at this location in Johannesburg, South Africa. So then 2019, I launched the retreat leg of my growth platform. Then in 2021, I launched the domestic leg of my growth platform called the Power Weekend. The reason I did that is because I specifically had ladies tell me, Chrissy, I can't go with you to South Africa. I have a 2-year-old. I have a this, I have a that. I need something local that I can get to quick. And it's like, okay, I could do that. I did a Power Weekend in Miami. It ended up being a very successful project. I will do them again. Okay. If you don't know, I have a Power Retreat informational coming up. It's complimentary. You can register at the link in my bio on Instagram. And it is March 31st, okay, where I am talking about where we're going for the next retreats, how you can join, get your spot, where we're going in 2026. But that is my growth platform, Global Power Tour, which is turned into other legs. Now, one very important function of Global Power Tour that, again, I didn't know what was going to happen. Let me be clear. I did not know all these things were going to happen just from me taking a step. Some people will lie to you and be like, oh, yeah, I knew all these things were going to happen. Lies. I didn't know. I didn't know. It has been one of the best things that I've ever done in life. And the reason is because it turned Christy into more of a woman. Okay? It turned Christy into a better businesswoman. It turned Christy into a more resourceful businesswoman. It is a difference between launching something in the United States, if you live here, or in the city that you live in, and, oh, we're out of X. Oh, we need Y, and getting it done in your own city. It's a big difference when you are 1 trillion miles away from home in another country, and you still got to be resourceful, and you still got to make the experience great for your attendees, and you still have to do it in a seamless way to where nobody knows that anything is happening. Oh, that will build some of your skills. My skills got built. But on top of all of that, y'all, and the income that it created for Women CEO Project, is that I picked up coaching clients. A lot of my coaching clients from 2016 came to Global Power Tour first. So they came to Global Power Tour. They checked me out. They checked out the room. They checked out what my previous clients said. They checked out the atmosphere. They checked out the welcoming environment. And then they decided to hire me as their coach. Who knew that that was going to be a channel to also filling my coaching bucket? Who knew? So next, I'm going to give you some potential growth platforms, okay? Then I'm going to open the floor for questions, okay? I'm going to give you some potential growth platforms. Then I'm going to open the floor for questions. Now, just if I don't mention something, it doesn't mean that you can't turn it into a growth platform for you. Do understand that. Let me know in the chat on YouTube if everyone is ready before I get started. I want to make sure y'all are alive. So I'm going to give you some potential growth platforms. Then I'm going to open the floor for questions. Now, do note this. I am going into more depth with this in my email list. Okay? My email list is very detailed. Okay? I did a full breakdown of Don Lemon's growth platform last week in my email list. This week in my email list, I'm showing the subscribers how they can actually build their own growth platform. Like, what do you need? What do I need to do? Okay. One last thing that I will say before I pop off, it is is the link there? The link is in the bio on Instagram. I am doing a class, a master class, where I am teaching you how to build your growth platform. Okay. I'm teaching you how to build your growth platform on April 9th. Okay. I have 50 spots for that class. The class is $99, y'all. I purposely made it $99. So if you want the back end, okay, what kind of team should you be looking for? What type of investment should you be looking for? Hold on, I'll tell you guys. Are y'all getting your questions ready? Even before I announce stuff, people will be in my stand store getting their seat. Okay. April 9th from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Okay. Which growth platform may be best for you to build based off your skill set? What you can expect as a time investment? What type of team you may need to build this platform? The financial investment to consider for your platform? How to build out your long-term plan, your launch strategy, and potential products that you can launch from your growth platform. That is what we're talking about on April 9th. Get your seat, 50 spots. The link is in the bio, okay? All right, so let's talk about potential growth platforms that you could build, okay? Now, we've already mentioned Global Power Tour. People ask me about Global Power Tour all the time, right? People ask me about Global Power Tour, but I feel like they think that it can't happen for them. Honestly, I feel like they think that it can't happen for them, right? Now, I will tell you that Global Power Tour, hold on, let me add something, y'all. Okay, guys. It is listed at the link in bio. It is there. I wanted to make sure. All right. So it's at the link in bio on Instagram. You can go on and get your seat. Because somebody will say, Christy, it's not there. I just wanted to double check. You don't have to do a Global Power Tour, but if you wanted to, wow, it could really be amazing for your business. I am a prime example. I have clients that do something similar that I've worked with. And one thing that I can say, they hired me, their clients. It didn't take them as long. That's the whole point of getting a coach and getting guidance and getting someone who's done it before. One of my clients, it only took hers to number 2. I said it took me 1 through 7. Hers profitable on number 2. And she hired me after she had done number 1. So I had nothing to do with that one. I had something to do with number 2, and that one was profitable. Okay. So you could build a tour. A tour is amazing. A tour can serve so many purposes and have so many different financial streams for your business. You could do a tour and that be it. That could be your whole business. Your whole business is wrapped around a tour. Then in a couple years, we drop a book. Then I have some other ideas that we could drop, and that could be your whole business. Just FYI. Another potential growth platform could be a community or a membership. We see people who, again, build their whole business around having a membership or having their community, right? What's that guy? Atomic Habits. That book right here? Yeah. The book Atomic Habits. He built his whole community around a newsletter. I don't know how many people are on his newsletter at this point. It's a lot, right? He launched a book from his newsletter. So what's the growth platform? Somebody tell me in the chat. What's the growth platform? Somebody tell me in the chat. Now, who is texting me? Whew. Exactly. The newsletter. The growth platform is the newsletter or email list. Yes. 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 He could launch a masterclass from his newsletter. He could launch a course from his newsletter. He could launch a podcast from his newsletter. He could launch merch from his newsletter. Y'all get me? Right now, we're going through the growth platform series. But do y'all know the next series that I'm teaching is Substack? Where I'm actually interviewing people. All I know is sis is working. Are you working? Are you working? I ain't about to sit here and stress. These people ain't about to give me gray hair. Okay, more. Okay? I'm dialed in. We working. I'm feeding my community. When times are weird or shaky, I always go back. I fall back on what is natural to me. And what is natural to me is to feed my community. And that's what I'm doing. A lady who works on my team here and there, she texted last week. She was like, Chrissy, you pumping out that content. I was like, girl, who knew? Now, y'all know I put out a lot of content anyway, but all I needed was an Osmo. Who knew? That's all I needed. Okay, so you could do a tour. You could do an online community or membership. You could do a power newsletter list like the Atomic Habits guy, right? And you focus and you focus and you focus on growing it, right? And those people build trust with you over time. Then you can launch other products from that. Let's continue. You could build your growth platform around your YouTube channel. Now, you need to always have your videos. I am doing this live stream, yes, directly on my phone on YouTube. I have my Osmo right beside it, so I have a copy of this. We not going to be caught lacking, okay? So it could be your YouTube channel. It could be a podcast. We talked about Stephen Bartlett with Diary of a CEO. His growth platform is that podcast. He has launched all kinds of things from the podcast. There's so many examples of a growth platform in front of you. You're just thinking that you can't do it because you're looking at the work aspect of it. I want you to take my advice one at a time. Record one podcast episode at a time. Send out one newsletter at a time. If you're going to do a tour, do one tour at a time. If it's YouTube, do one video at a time. Focus on doing the best you can, one at a time. Every time I'm doing a retreat, I am sitting there thinking about doing the best retreat I can at this time. I'll worry about the other one later. Does that make sense, ladies? Live and virtual retreats could be a growth platform. I know, again, people who built their entire business around retreats. Your growth platform could be a book and a speaking platform combined. There are no limitations. I just gave you my pillars initially. I need you to own it. I need it to be a strong enough foundation to launch other products. I need you to already get in your mind that you're going to be consistent. All right, ladies, what are your questions? I have roughly 10 minutes to do questions. What are your questions? You can ask me anything, but let's go on and get them dropped. What are your questions, ladies? What are your questions? No questions? Everyone's good? To show you that I have believed in quality my whole life, I'm giving y'all time to put them questions in the chat. Y'all see this necklace? I talked about this necklace in my book. Y'all know how old this necklace is? It's over 25 years old. Over 25 years old. It cost me roughly about $80. I used to make natural jewelry. I would sell everything that I made. This is the only piece that I kept. It was one of my favorites. Just this center piece was $80. In college, I made natural jewelry. I've always been an entrepreneur. I've never not been an entrepreneur. And to say I can pull out a necklace that is over 25 years old and put on, and it's still, I've never fixed it. It has lasted this long. I have sensitive skin, so I used real sterling silver for the clasp. I used an upgraded wire to put it together, and just the centerpiece, center stone, was $80. I don't know why I decided to pull this out today and put this on. All right, I see your questions. What was your initial performance metric to determine the success of your first Global Power Tour? The fact that I sold it out. Now, I remember Global Power Tour is so close to my heart. I remember even for the first one, I mean, plus it wasn't that long ago. I remember every single thing about the conference. As far as like, I charged too low for the first one as well. It's one of the things I learned over the years. It was too low. I probably could have still sold it out charging a bit more. But I was focused on getting one under my belt. I didn't know it was too low until I started like, okay, well now I'm going to do a VIP night. And the VIP night, guys, was initially just going to be for the first one. I was not planning on doing it every time. Okay. It was for the launch of Global Power Tour. I did a VIP night. But then after everybody saw me do they saw the content of me doing the VIP night, every city was like, are we doing a VIP night? And I thought, well, I guess so. That would, again, as you're building something, Again, people will ask me questions about Global Power Tour as if I had a plan for every single thing that happened. I didn't. I had a plan to launch the project. There are so many things that happen throughout the course of launching a project that you don't know what's going to be on the path till you get on the path. I'm glad that I got on the path because I learned so many different things. Oh, wow, they really like a VIP night. Oh, wow, if it's all white, that's really pretty. Oh, you see what I mean? Do you still get coaching for yourself? Yes, I do. What other questions do you have, ladies? Is that everything? Is that everything? Now, couple of things. Let me just remind you, if you are not on my paid newsletter list, that is one of the best ways to get in-depth information from me at $15 a month, or you can pay for the year. I had a lot of people pay for the year, which is amazing. You got 2 months free if you paid for the year. That's one thing. So definitely join my newsletter list. Okay. Second thing, if you can get to Houston or you are in Houston, you absolutely want to come to my business breakfast. Okay. I used to do these all the time. I haven't done one in a couple of years, but they're intimate enough for the women to get tons out of them. And then this time we're doing a couple things new. We're doing hotspot coaching. We're doing speed networking. Because I know for me, if you give me room to not talk, I ain't talking. I talk at my events because I know most of y'all. But there we go. All right. How long had you been building your community before launching the first Global Power Tour? I would say I have been building my community on socials. I launched Facebook in 2009. I launched Instagram in 2014. I launched Global Power Tour in 2000, Women CEO Project in 2010. So let me put that in a better order. I initially got on Facebook in 2009. I launched Women CEO Project in 2010. So from 2010 to 2014, the only social media that I had was I dabbled on YouTube. If y'all go back, I have videos from 2011, and I was on Facebook. Meetup, I don't know if they call that a social media platform, but I use Meetup as well. And I started building my community on Instagram in 2014. So if you count Facebook, it was 2009. Okay. But keep this in mind. This is very important. I'm glad you asked because it brings this up. I have hosted over 400 events in the last 22 years. That makes a big difference. In Houston, Texas, I wasn't like if I were to launch something now in Houston, Texas, and I just left it open to men and women, I'm known in some circles, in some, segments in Houston because I've been here 20 something years and I've hosted a lot of events here. So that helped as well. Make sense? How do you know it's time to exit or eliminate a growth platform? It's not time. Trust me. If I looked at yours, I would find all kinds of probably inconsistencies or areas where you could have gone harder. So it's probably not time. Let me just say that. I want to use YouTube as my growth platform, but can I just transfer the content onto my YouTube, or should I create new exclusive content only on YouTube? It depends. You want to transfer content from where? Is it like Instagram or whatnot? Because this is one of the things I will say to answer that. I just told y'all that I've had YouTube since 2011. I have what, 2,300 subscribers? That's it. Right? I have 174,000 followers on Instagram, which I launched 3 years later in 2014. Let me tell you why I'm pointing this out. I'm pointing this out because the platforms are different. They're different. Some of the things that work very well on Instagram, they literally do nothing on YouTube. Okay. I have tried out a lot of content that I pulled from an Instagram reel and put it on YouTube to see how I did. So, what I will say is that it is worth studying and investing in learning any platform that you're going to be on. Okay. And then understand that creating content that is native to that platform, and that also you have seen evidence and examples of that type of content doing well on that platform, that is what I will focus on from Instagram, since Instagram is my main platform. I would want to take a look at your platforms to see. Book a discovery call with me. Let's get on. So you can ask me your questions directly, and so I'll have a chance to look at your Instagram and see. What time is it? All right, ladies, I'm going to pop off. I hope that you learned something. If nothing else, you know that you should do this. We should not. Have we not learned from TikTok? It can be gone just like that. Tomorrow, everything that you created, everything that you worked on, gone. You need your own platforms. Okay? All right, ladies, I will see you soon. Thank you for popping on with me. Bye.